Because the fishing update is now here, I can build one of the coolest bases in the game. I'm gonna be building the biggest food base, where I'm gonna have 3 walls. One with the max level fire ring, the second where we have 5 torches expanding the base, and the third where we have 10 torches expanding the base, all with different types of food. Now you just saw it, but I have no idea what we're gonna do with this base yet. I'm not sure which food we're gonna put in which ring, but I do know it's gonna look very cool. Now I did just realize though, I'm playing the fisherman. Instead of playing the fisherman, I'm actually gonna play the farmer. That way we can get a ton more food, and that should be more efficient than just getting better fish. So let me quickly get fire level 3, and we're also gonna be getting all 4 kids for this base. Alright, fire level 3. Now I do need to go find a weapon before we go get the first kid, because I do want to be careful, I don't want to die. Or actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take all this coal, and this might be enough to get me to fire level 4. See if this works. Almost. Let me actually just get a bit more wood, and we can get level 4 fire pretty much right off the bat, and hopefully that'll help us find a weapon faster. Alright, there we go. Got 3 wood left over for a map as well. We're already doing pretty good. We're gonna build this base as fast as possible, giving us more time to make it really good. There we go. Okay, we got a rifle before even anything else, but this will be good enough to go get the first kid, and definitely the second kid. We just need enough ammo. Wait, whoa. I think they fixed it. The farmer used to not actually give you apple trees, but we just got an apple tree. Interesting. Okay, so I could pick the apples just like this by putting it in the sack, and I think you cut it down just like any other tree. So actually, that'll help us to get a bunch of apples. We could use that as part of our food. So we're just gonna start a little pile right here, and right now I'm just eating a bunch of morsels because I don't have any stable source of food yet. But let me get the good sack real quick, and now let's go get the first kid. Alright, first kid is safe. I'm also gonna get the good axe with the... Oh, interesting. Wait, why in the world would I trade for an old rod? I'm actually a little bit curious about that. There's like 17 of them back here. Yeah, I see them right there. They're all right here. I wonder, why does he trade them? That's interesting. Maybe in the future they won't have this building here. I'm not sure. But let me try to cut down this apple tree, see if it gives more wood or less wood. Yeah, it seems to be about the same wood. We got 3 right here, 3 right here, 3 and 3. Okay. Now for this base, I'm gonna have to get an absolute ton of scrap because we're gonna be using shelves to build our walls. And each of those, although they're only 2 scrap, it is still gonna be a lot of shelves. Alright, we just got level 5 fire. We also got a spear. So let me use that to go get the second kid. And I'm trying to think what we should do for this base. I'm thinking the inner ring should be the more rare foods because I'm not gonna have as many of them. And then the outer ring should be some just ridiculously easy. So I think the outer ring, what we should do is, because even we're playing the farmer class, the outer ring should be full of fruit or vegetables that you grow out of the ground. Don't think you can grow any fruits in this game yet. Actually, I can grow the apple because I'm the farmer, so we might put that in the outer ring as well. Well, it's a little difficult to get the second kid when all 4 of them are chasing you, so let me revive. Alright, second kid is now safe. I do need more rifle ammo before I go get the third kid though. But we have a ton of wood and scrap, so let me upgrade the crafting bench twice, and then let me also start to get farm plots, which we're gonna be using these in these asterisk-like patterns. So right now it's in a plus sign, but you can plant, I don't know, like 10 of them on top of each other by doing it diagonally and very precisely, which will allow me to literally water like 10 farm plots all at once, making this way more efficient. And because I'm the farmer and I have the max level, every single farm plot will get me at least 1 pumpkin. So we're gonna have a very nice food source and also a lot of pumpkins for our wall. But in order to start the wall, we do need the level 6 fire. So let me get the sundial just so I know what time of day it is. We got a minute 40. I think I should just go out and loot, try to get some fuel, and then come back to the base. Okay, this is perfect. I just found chili seeds. I'm gonna pick those up. I'm also picking up all these fruits and vegetables, and the chilies will actually add a lot to our variety. Now, the one thing I do need to do better is that I haven't been picking up cakes, I've been eating them. So instead, we need to pick up the cakes and bring them back, and I'm wondering how many we can get. Got a bunch of fuel. Don't think this is enough for fire level 6 though. We're about halfway so far. Alright, just got another farm plot. So we put it just like this, and we can put a bunch more when we have the wood for it. So let me actually go get more wood, and then we'll also replant the saplings, and while we're going out and getting scrap and fuel, we should have enough food for what we need. We only really need 20 farm plots and maybe a few other things. I'm not exactly sure yet. We're gonna have to think about that. Alright, we already got some of our food to grow, but now I'm gonna start separating it. So pumpkins we'll put here, we'll pick up the apples and we'll put them over here, add our carrots right here, and corn off to the side. Now these are all most likely gonna be in the outer ring, and then I'll probably put fish on the middle ring because fish are decently easy to get. But as for the inner ring, I'm wondering what we can do. But let me just get some chilies real quick because I do see a bunch of them around me now. Alright, there we go. Got 25 chilies, and I'm actually gonna go grab a few more. I also do want to get the berries. These are gonna be nice for the base. Put our berries off to a separate pile, and so far everything's going good. I just do need to go get more fuel. So let me also get a biofuel processor and a boost pad. I also just realized we do need to get the third kid. So we found the place by accident, but I do need to take care of these wolves too because I prefer life. Not having bite marks in your legs is actually a pretty cool feeling. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but that's what I'm trying to do right now. Got the bear pelt, which will give us the final pelt trade, and an oil barrel. These are what we need right now. Got the strong axe too. That'll actually help us to get some wood. There we go. All right, we're back to the base. My fire is also about to go out, so it's a good thing we have fuel. Third kid is back at the base as well. Pelt trader also just showed up. That's perfect timing. And we have more apple trees as well. Let me get the iron armor. We need that right now. I'm getting close to dying quite a lot. All right, let's see. Do the apples just fall? Okay, they do. So you can just cut down the trees and the apples will be there. All right, we're about to hit fire level 6. I'm just gonna get a few of these carrots. We're gonna be growing a ton of them anyway, and that should get us to the max level. There we go. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut down all the trees we have right here and get a few more farm plots just so we can get our fruit up pretty quickly, because we are gonna be filling up an entire level 10 torch wall with a bunch of vegetables and fruit. That's probably gonna take quite a lot, so it's always good to start as soon as possible. I'm also curious how many farm plots you can get in one spot. So let me craft 2 more, and with this will be 5. So there we go. There's 4 and there's 5. Use the watering can as well. There we go. So now we need to build an entire wall made out of shelves around this circle, and then we'll make it bigger with torches. So one thing I just realized, the apples seem to be bugged. If you pick them up after chopping down a tree, they don't appear in your sack. There's nothing in here. And I'm not eating them too because my hunger bar is not going up. So for now, I'm just gonna eat and they don't even work. Okay, so don't just chop down the tree. Make sure you pick off the apples if you can. So in order to preserve the apples, I'm gonna plant these in a line like this. Not as a wall, but just to have them a little bit separate. But we do also have 50 more wood, which means we're gonna have a total of 10 farm plots now. So I wonder, can we plant all these? There's 6, there's 7, there's 8, there's 9, and there's 10. 10 farm plots in one. It almost looks like a circle now, but because I can water them all at the same time, it makes it a lot easier. But now let's make all of our shelves, which will actually be 30 old shelves already, and let's see if we can fill in this first wall. All right, we just placed all of them. That's 30 shelves, and we are close to being done. We have about 25% left to go. But now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go get a bunch of scrap, because we're gonna need about 60 for all 10 of our torches, and also a ton more for the walls. So I'm gonna be looking for things like washing machines, tires, microwaves, and also the engines. And we will also make a crock pot. That way I can have food whenever we go out, but also for the wall, which might be what we make our inner wall. Inner wall will be stew, then we'll have fish, then we'll have fruits and vegetables. That actually might work. Or maybe the inner wall could be, I actually do have a few ideas now, because what are we gonna do about things like cooked meat and cooked steak, or cooked morsel and cooked steak? Not exactly sure, but at least I have ideas now. We also did get the morning stars, so not bad. All right, this is really good. We found a very big lake with the bones in it, and we also found the 4th kid's location. So let me see if we can get the 4th kid really quick. All right, this will be the last bear. Key fell right in there too, and we got the 4th kid and a mythic chest, and we got the riot shield. I don't think I've ever actually used the riot shield other than just holding it out. Okay, this is not good. My flashlight just ran out of battery, and we're out in the very outer ring with a bunch of bears and the deer chasing me. I hear his footsteps, but I don't see him. We're also low on hunger, so I need to make it home as fast as possible. All right, we're back to base. I'm gonna eat a couple pumpkins. All right, 4th kid is safe, slightly over the apples, but that's fine. And our apple tree grew, so now let me grab all these by hand. There's also a few of them that seem to be in between. Yeah, right there. Okay, this is interesting. We got a bunch of our farm plots to grow. We also got a piece of cake. So let me put that off to the side. Let me grab all these pumpkins too. It's an insane amount of pumpkins. It's like 11 pumpkins in just one tiny spot. Insane. We're gonna have a lot of food. Grab all the corn as well. There were more pumpkins than corn. Then let me grab these 50,000 carrots. I'm also gonna use a few of these for some biofuel, because we're gonna have a ton of them anyway. Let me also get this wood, and we're gonna see if we can build even more farm plots on top of the ones we already have. All right, we got 50 wood. Now I am gonna use half of it on building torches, or actually that was a little bit more than half, so that way we'll be ready for when we want to expand the base. So I'm gonna build 2 more farm plots, a bunch more shelves, which should definitely finish out the wall. Then we'll place our torches for the next wall. So let's see. All right, this will make 11, and this barely will make 12. Insane how you could just place all these right on top of each other. But now let's finish that wall. All right, this should be the last. Actually, I want to place 2 shelves just in case. I want there to be no gap. There we go. All right, the first wall is officially complete, and I do think we should make this inner wall full of, maybe not stew actually. Maybe the second layer could be, I'm not sure what I want to do. Meat is insanely hard to get. This amount of meat, oh, is absolutely ridiculous. This is gonna be so hard to get. So the first wall, we're definitely making meat. We're gonna make it cooked morsel, steaks, and maybe even a few ribs if we go to get some mammoths. Now we have fish and fruits and vegetables left, and also stew. Now I'm thinking that the middle wall will make it full of fish. I think that would look pretty cool. And then the outer wall, we will make that of stew and vegetables and all that. So stew will actually be with the vegetables. And we also got another piece of cake because we have so many farm plots. It's actually coming by pretty quick. All right, so I'm gonna put my shelves off to the side, or at least the extra ones that we have. Then we're gonna place our 5 torches around the kids' tent. So 1 for each tent, and then we'll also put 1 fun behind the campfire. So now the new wall is going to be out here with even more shelves filled with fish, which is probably going to take an insane amount of time. I'm hoping maybe that sharks will take up an entire shelf. That would help a lot, but I guess we'll have to find out. All right, so I think what I want to do now is we're going to go get our fishing rod to level 2. So I'm going to use these fishing spots right here. Actually, you know what? I don't want to use this one. I want to use one that's further out and is a level 2 lake. That way we can get some salmon a lot faster, and although it might be a little bit harder, the XP is worth it just because the mackerel barely gives you anything. All right, here we go. This should be a level 2 lake. The color does look different. Yeah, there we go. We already got a hard one right off the bat, and I failed. There we go. Yeah, that's a ton of XP, so we just got to keep doing this. All right, so far we got 6 salmon, and also we're halfway to level 2. There we go. Our rod is ready for upgrade, so let's grab all this salmon, and then I think I'm gonna go out to the level 3 lake to try and get the strong rod as fast as possible. Put it in there, get the upgrade. All right, so let me drop off these salmon. We're not gonna be cooking them because if we cook the fish, they're all gonna be the same exact color. But now let's see, where is the 4th kid? I remember a lake being by where the 4th kid was held. Actually, you don't see it. Okay, it might be right here, this bottom right. It is covered up by a chest a little bit. So we're gonna have to go down to the bottom right. We also got more trees growing in, which means I think we'll be able to finish out our farm plots and make as many as you could possibly build. Okay, we're not there yet, but we have 4 more farm plots, which means this will bring us up to 16 in one spot if we can get them all placed, which it seems like we'll be able to. There we go. It is insane how many of these you could place on top of each other. But now let me head down to where the 4th kid was kept, and let's fish in that lake. Got another piece of cake, and here's the lake that I was looking for. So let's see what we can get. I'm thinking the swordfish shouldn't be too difficult. It might be just as difficult as the salmon was with the old rod. Okay, this is actually pretty easy. Hold up. Okay, it was a cultist gem. Nothing crazy. All right, now we got something going. That's the sword. Oh, dude. That gave me like a third of my XP. That is insane. All right, we got another one coming right here. All right, one more fish and we'll get the strong rod. All right, should be it. There we go. Rod is ready for upgrade. Let me take all this stuff back to the base. Okay, this is insane. This is just an insane amount of food. Now I'm gonna let it go by maybe a couple more days. That way they should actually, no, we're gonna do that later. I want to have all of them be in sync so that we have everything grow all at once. So for now, let's actually harvest all this. And in order to make a bunch of stew, I actually have a plan for that. I just need the materials to make the crock pot. It is insane how many pumpkins we have. We're starting to have more pumpkins than anything else. All right, let me go upgrade our rod. And then for today, we're gonna get some more wood just so that we can get the final farm plots that we need. And then we'll go back to fish some more for all the fish we're gonna need. We're gonna need an absolutely insane amount of fish, while also getting some wolves on the way, maybe even bears, and maybe even mammoths. That might be the most worth it because mammoths are kind of easy to take down if you know what you're doing, and they do give a ton of food, but we'll see. I would like the tactical shotgun. That would help me a ton right now, but then again, the ammo is expensive, so I don't know. Okay, this will be enough to make all 20 farm plots, and we're gonna see. I'm assuming this will work. Place all of them. Yep, there's a spot right there, just barely. Try right here. Yep, there we go. And let's see. This might be a little difficult, but I do see it, so there we go. And there is all 20 farm plots in one place. So I'm just gonna water all of them, and then I'm gonna wait a few days to even harvest it. That way they'll all be on the same schedule. So we'll just have a ton of stuff growing all at once, harvest it, and then repeat. So now what I want to do is I want to head out and actually get more scrap. We'll have that for our wall, but also to make the crock pot, because we do want to start making stews as soon as possible. Okay, this is good. We got 2 bases and a water tower right next to each other. That's gonna be a lot of scrap, but first let me try to get my stuff without dying. There's so many animals around here right now. Now I could just snipe down at the crossbow guy, because he's actually the most dangerous. His aim is insane. I have no idea why they made the aim so incredibly crazy on this guy, because it used to be worse, but probably a while ago they made it better. Oh, you've got... Dude, what in the world was... That was Batman? Alright, take 2 to go get my stuff. Alright, I have to be careful. I'm gonna try to take these guys out one by... And there's a bear. Alright, I think I took out everybody. There's another wolf that just spawned, though. Alright, that should be everybody. I'm gonna check up on the roof just in case. Alright, there's one more guy off to the side, but at least he's not on the roof. 2 guys, okay. Got 1. Okay, I'm out of rifle bullets. This is not good, but I do have the things that are trying to chase after me inside of the base. So we'll just take that and we'll take all our stuff. I do need food right now, though, so I'm gonna take a med kit and eat some raw food. All right, let me just get the last 2 chests, and we'll actually have a ton of stuff. Now, let me get the water tower, because this always has good stuff. Nothing here on the bottom. We did get a microwave and oil barrel, though. All right, I'm gonna quickly loot this base, which is pretty easy, because all you gotta do is get the stuff on the bottom just by running through, and then when you manage to parkour up top, no one can get to you. I do really badly need some food, though. Insanely badly. So I'm gonna take my morning star, and we're gonna go get an alpha wolf really fast and eat the raw steak. Okay, now I'm heading back to the base. This is a little little dangerous to still be out. But furniture trader's here too. So let me grab these coins and then see what we can get. We can add a little bit to our base. Let's see what he's got. We're gonna get our rainbow fish lounger. We're gonna get the snowman and the icy throne. Then we'll get some flowers. That'll help make the base look nice. And then we got the flowers. We'll also get the hedgerows because it is a food base. So the hedgerows will look nice around the farm, even though the farm is tiny. So I wonder how we're even gonna use those. All right, we got 95 scrap. So that'll get us the crock pot. We just need a little bit of wood. All right, we got enough wood. Now I want to show you guys something interesting that I saw in a YouTube short. If I put my crock pot right here, then we build 4 wood rain storages and put them around just like this, pretty much touching the crock pot, just like this. This looks pretty good. We can now take an absolute insane amount of carrots, and instead of having to wait for our stew to cook, we could just drop all of the carrots into here, and it'll continue to make stews pretty slowly because usually you have to take out the stew to do it faster, but it will still cook them pretty much automatically. So we're just gonna shove all of our carrots into there. All right, we got a bunch of carrots in here, so that'll just start making us stews, of the which it's already made us 2. All right, now that we got our crock pot going, let's make the second layer wall. So we're gonna craft as many shelves as we can, and then we're also gonna pick up the leftover ones we have, and I'm assuming we might be able to finish half of it. So let's start from right here and then work our way clockwise. Okay, I messed up a little bit right here, so I'm gonna instead go the other way, and then we'll eventually get a hammer to fix that. All right, so we have a little gap right here, but it shouldn't really matter too much. I just don't want to curve it inwards right here because then that just leaves a wall in between it. It's like a secondary mini wall for this lake, but we're just gonna keep going. All right, here's our last shelf, and with that, we'll actually have finished more than half of the second wall. I just need the hammer to fix this little mistake right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna go get more scrap so we can finish the second wall, and then we'll finish the third wall, or at least that's what I'm planning on doing, and then we'll start getting meat for that inner wall, because the inner wall is going to be the hardest. Getting meat is not easy. It takes a lot of ammo, or if I use the Morning Star, I should be able to get a lot of steak from wolves. I also got a mythic chest right here. We will take that. All right, thorn armor isn't bad. We'll take that. All right, we're running out of area to look for scrap, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the winter biome, make some bunny ears, because we already have 2 bunny feet, and then we'll get scrap over here, which should be slightly easier. Actually, I might as well just get the Arctic Fox Bell. I just got 2 already. Now it's 3. All right, we got 3 pretty fast. So let me go make that, and then getting scrap actually should be easy out here. There we go. We reached day 99 in 1 minute less than 2 hours. So we got a little bit longer to go until we can finally get this base finished. Just doing a ton of preparation right now. We have 130 scrap. This should be good enough to definitely finish the second wall and also get a huge portion of the last wall done. I have no idea how many shelves I have. 130 shelves though should be about 65 shelves. And there we go. Second wall is complete, but before we build the third wall, I do need to make more torches, so we're gonna have to go get a little bit more scrap, but then we can start filling this thing out with as much food as possible. All right, we've waited quite a few days for our farm, so now let's finally harvest it, and all 20 farm plots should be synced up. So we got 17 pieces of corn, probably 20 pumpkins. Yeah, there we go, exactly 20. It's an insane amount. Got a piece of cake, extra piece of corn that I didn't get, and now an absolute insane amount of carrots, which we're gonna drop both a little bit into the fire to get that up, and also into the stew maker. All right, fire is about max, and then let's just keep dropping these in here. All right, this looks pretty good. Starting to even cover up the crock pot a little bit, but we'll let that go. And now I think the best thing to do is to go... Actually, you know what? We're gonna fish a little bit right here. With the strong rod, it probably is gonna be really easy. That way we can get a ton of fish for this second row, because there's no way I'm filling the entire second row with sharks. That is insanely hard. No way. I got a clownfish the first try. That's insanely rare, is it not? Yeah, I got a mackerel the second try. I guess if I keep fishing, I'll tell whether or not the clownfish first try is rare. It seems to be insanely rare. Okay, that's interesting. I got 2 clownfish now, and although I'm getting mostly mackerel, I do think that the 2 clownfish is insanely rare. What in the world? Yo, I just got a swordfish out of here. I have no idea how rare that is. Actually, you know what? It might actually be worth to fish out by where the 4th kid was, because that's a level 3 lake, and I'm thinking if I put mackerel here, how many can I fit? 6 mackerel per shelf, but a swordfish, I actually don't know that. I actually have no idea to tell, but I do think I might be able to fit less swordfish per shelf, which should fill up the shelves faster. But for now, let's take all of our fish and we'll put them over here. All right, I seem to have messed up the timing for our fruit to grow, or maybe there is no way to sync it up, because now it seems like it's not synced up, but we'll still harvest it anyway. All right, this is actually starting to lag me out a little bit. It's about full, pretty close to being full, but I think I'm just gonna let that sit for a while because it is starting to lag me a little bit. Now let me go out and get some more scrap, which we'll need for some torches. All right, we're back to the base. I'm starting to run a little bit low on scrap, or at least areas to find scrap, but we can make our last 5 torches and even more shelves, so that's good. So now let's place our torches, one more behind the crafting bench, and then one more for each of the kids' tents. All right, so now let me pick up, I'm gonna just pick up half of these, and then now we have the room to make the final wall for the base. Now the 10 torch wall works a little weird because I can only build out this far, but it does say I have more room, so we'll have to build just as close as we can to the edge. All right, with this we finished just about half of the wall. So now let's pick up the rest of our shelves and see what we can do. This does give me confidence though, because we are running a little bit low on scrap, but we're almost done. All right, with this we actually don't have much left, maybe 30% of the wall left to create, and then we can start filling it in. But let me also get some more food, because dude, I have no idea just how much corn and pumpkins and carrots we're gonna need for that final wall. I'm also gonna start putting off my carrots to the side. Maybe we could fill up a few shelves with these as well, because our stew maker is just full right now and I don't want to lag us out. Actually, it's not that full anymore, but I don't want to make it full again. All right, I'm gonna head out today to get what should be the last bit of scrap that we need. But let me actually grab some food first. I don't want to starve. You know what? In order to get a little bit more scrap, I'm gonna take out the first level stronghold. That way we get the cultist prototype and maybe even the experiment, but I know we at least get 2 of whichever ones it gives me. So let's actually do that. Shouldn't be too difficult, especially with the morning star. And there we go. So we got a prototype, an experiment, gem of the forest fragment, 2 cultist gems, and now we got the mythic chest. Hoping for a tactical shotgun, because that will help us to get, there we go. Okay, perfect. Actually, that will help us to get a ton of meat. I'm actually gonna start bringing back some as well. I think the first places that I want to go check are the places where the kids were held, because there should be just a ton of meat right there. All right, the stew maker is starting to go down a bit, so I'm gonna just put these carrots off to the side, and then we'll pick up all the stew, of which I have no idea how much is in here. It is a lot. All right, just start dropping these, and there we go. Probably doubled or even more this pile right here. All right, so let's take the scrap that we have. We'll build almost as many shelves as we can, just so we don't waste, and let's see if we can finish this 3rd wall. Then we'll just go get as much meat as we possibly can with the new tactical shotgun we got. All right, I'm glad we didn't build too many shelves, because now I only have 1 extra and all 3 walls are done. So now we're gonna have to fill these up like crazy. We're gonna start with the inner wall. We're gonna leave everything else and just start with the inner wall with meat. So let me start by putting some cooked morsel right here, and then we'll put some cooked steak right here, and then we'll work the steak this way and the cooked morsel this way. Dude, it is just insane. We have a mountain of pumpkins over here. I'm just eating pumpkins for food right now. All right, I got my tactical shotgun. Don't know how many shots. Okay, we got the owl too. That's not good. I'm also about to die, and I don't have any heals on me, so I'm gonna have to be very careful with how I hand, and I'm dead. All right, we got a bunch of food. I think we also got 2 polar bear pelts. We got 1 here, and I think another one from the polar bear we killed earlier. Just need to find that. We also have more meat here, so I'm gonna remember to come get that. But for now, I think what we can do is make the polar bear helmet. Yep, we should be good to do so. There we go. Now I'm gonna try to kill a mammoth and see if that is worth it. All right, let's see how this goes. It will give us a few ribs when we kill the mammoth as well. All right, there we go. We got actually a bunch of steak, but I don't think that's worth it, because although the steak does give you more hunger, we're just trying to fill the shelves right now. Okay, this is perfect. We got a fishing spot right here, so what I'm gonna do is keep backing out of it until we get a shark, and that way we could see how many sharks will fit on a shelf. All right, we got our first one. We also did just get the old boot, so we'll take that, but I did forget the shark thing. So although I'm kind of glad we got the old boot, I do need to get sharks. All right, we got all the meat here. There might be a bit more back here. Okay, perfect. All right, let me start sorting some of this meat that we have. Gonna try to grab all the morsels and then just place them on the shelves. But we have so much stuff right here, and I think we could fit about 4 morsels per shelf. Yeah, okay, so it's not dropping anymore, which is actually pretty good, because morsels are easier to get than steaks, and actually less of them go on each shelf. All right, this is what we have so far. Almost 3 shelves of steak. We had a little bit of ribs on there, but one of them fell off, and a ton of cooked morsels. So we're not halfway done, but I think we're about 25, maybe 30% done. So this is gonna be a little difficult. So now let me see if I can find the location where the 3rd kid was kept. Here was the 1st, I think here was the 2nd, but I don't see the 3rd, and that's not a good sign. Okay, the meat is now starting to fall like it's moon gravity. I think we have so many pieces of things like the vegetables back at the base that we're starting to lag out the game. Oh yeah, this is not looking good. This is not good. Okay, this is pretty bad. All right, we got some meat pretty fast. We're also gonna grab this scrap, because I'm thinking for fishing we might as well make a teleporter, because I do think although it'll take a lot of scrap, it'll be worth our time to do it, because then we'll be able to go back and forth between fishing a lot faster and even bring the fish back to base a lot quicker. So let's see, we have 36 scrap right now. We can get a crafting bench 4 to get 2 teleporters first, we need 50 scrap and 30 wood. The wood is very easy. We have a bunch laying right here, so we're gonna get that very fast. But the scrap is what I'm worried about because we were already low earlier. But I do think that just from fishing, we can get some scrap anyway. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go fish, and then the scrap that we get, or maybe even find while doing other things, we'll use that for the teleporter. All right, I'm lagging a very decent amount now. Everything's moving really slowly. So in order to combat that, we're gonna start placing our fruit and our vegetables. And I'm assuming that should make it less laggy when stuff is on the shelf. All right, we got the last of the pumpkins, and so far we already have all of this. Let me just fill up this last little bit. There we go. Oh wait, I forgot. We have more growing over here, so let me grab these two. All right, now this is all the pumpkins we have. It's an insane amount. Seriously, it's insane. Now, one of these shelves right here, it wouldn't let me put 9, and I think these ones also might have done the same thing, but we have just, I don't even know how many this is. So now let's start with putting our stews as well. Now, these are going to be a little bit more difficult because they're in your inventory, not in your sack, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave extra room for a lot more pumpkins. We're going to start right over here with our stews. All right, there's all of our stews. We also have an insane amount of those. Now we're going to start with our corn, and this is just a ridiculous amount as well. So we're going to leave a gap for some stew. We're going to start right here. Now, it takes a lot more corn to fill up a shelf, so the corn shouldn't take up too much space. Okay, this is interesting. This shelf did not want to take a lot of them, and I think this is helping the lag. It seems to be everything's moving a lot faster now, probably because there's less collision. Everything's just resting on the shelf. All right, I have 6 more pieces of corn, and although we do have some shelves that aren't taking as much corn as others, this is what we have so far. So now it's, wait, hold up, I just realized I almost finished the entire circle with all this. Where in the world are we gonna put carrots? Maybe instead of these gaps being for extra fruits, we could just fill them in with carrots, because wow, okay, that was pretty fast. So let's go ahead and do that. I also didn't place any apples or chili peppers yet, so I'm just gonna place a few carrot over in this section, then we're gonna go place our chili peppers and our apples as well. All right, let's grab our apples and we'll do these first. We're gonna put them on this edge of the stews. All right, we have 2 extra, but we're just gonna go ahead and eat these to make it look nice and perfect. Now the chilies we're gonna place over here, not next to the apples, just because they do have a very similar color, and I don't think this shelf is even usable. Yeah, this shelf isn't even usable. Hold up, can't place any chilies. I think I placed 1 chili on there, or maybe it just fell on there because I can't even use that shelf. So we're gonna start over here then. Wait, hold up, I don't think it's a shelf problem. I think it's all the shelves problems. I don't think you could place chili. Okay, guess you can't do that. That's I have no idea why that's a thing. So we're just gonna keep these over here because I do have a bunch. But as for the cake that we have, I'm gonna put these onto a shelf in the inner ring. So we're gonna move this morsel shelf off to one other shelf and then have this be for the cake. All right, this should fill up the corn shelves. There we go. Okay, so we're done with the corn. All these shelves should be full, and the rest we're just gonna keep off to the side right here for extra food. Now let me start placing our fish. I'm wondering just how hard it's gonna be to get the fish row filled up, because that might take a very long time. So we'll start with the mackerels right here, and it does seem like the mackerels are very inefficient for filling the shelves, but it does look nice. Oh, I also realized we have berries. I'm gonna try to fill in a shelf with these berries. We'll do that right next to the corn right here, but I don't think you could put them on shelves. I think berries and chilies alike doesn't seem like you put them on shelves. Okay, so that's good to know, but also kind of sucks. Wait, hold up. Okay, no, you can place them. They just roll off like, okay. Let me pick up the ones that aren't on the shelf. There we go, and then we'll just place these and hope they don't fall off. Okay, these just keep falling off over and over and over. Interesting. I'm gonna try to just drop them on the top shelf, and then we'll call these 2 the berry shelves. All right, there we go. We got them on top. These are our berry shelves. Let me put one more on top like this. There we go. Still haven't gotten the hammer to fix that one shelf, so let me go do that. It is nighttime, so I should probably learn from my lesson and do that as soon as it's morning. But now let's take the carrots that we have and fill out the very outer rim to the brim, and it is not slim. Wait, hold up. We perfectly have enough cake to fill an entire shelf of it. That is pretty nice. All right, I think absolutely everything on the outer shelf is filled except for 2 shelves right here, which we're gonna fill with pumpkins, and then this stew shelf, which we only need 7 more stews for. So let's just go ahead and put these carrots in here, get some stews, which might be enough by now. Should be enough. And there we go. Okay, this is full. So now we just need some more pumpkins, but we'll get those pretty easily. So for now, we're just gonna take all the rest of our fruits and shove it in the stew maker, because why not? Actually, I'm gonna take all of these and shove it into the stew maker, because then that should be enough stew for the probably rest of the run, and if not, we'll grow more. And then all these carrots that are on the floor over here, we're just gonna eat those. I'm gonna have the best eyesight. I'm gonna have 2017 vision, and hopefully then we can do some better fishing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the opposite side of where the mackerels are and just fill it up with store. Okay, this is just as hard as mackerels. I think it might be more worth it to get mackerels then, but we'll see. Maybe the salmon have a better filling of the shelf effect. So we're gonna go quite a bit away over here and fill the salmon over here, which also have the same filling the shelf effect. Okay, that is interesting. We might be fishing for a very long time. We're gonna keep all these fish off to the side though, because we don't have enough to fill a shelf yet. Now I'm curious about the shark. Are the sharks gonna be what saves us? Let's put them over here. Actually, let me do it without the log. Okay, the sharks are good. They take up 3 per shelf, or 2 where we got lucky down here. You know what? This is gonna take some time, but we're switching it up. And I have to do this or this will take an abysmal amount of time. We are gonna have the first layer be fish and the second layer be meat, because fish are very hard to get. And if we have fish be the second layer, we might be here for an insanely long time. And I'm also a little worried about disconnecting. I do not want to disconnect with what we have so far. This is taking me an insane amount of time. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of our mackerel and we're just gonna move it 1 shelf inward, and then we're gonna do something similar with all the meat. So it shouldn't take me a ridiculous amount of time, but we absolutely do have to do this. It would be an insane amount of fish to put it on the second layer. But now that we have our pumpkins grown in, this will finish the outer wall, or at least I'm 99% sure. Let me look. Yeah, all right, this will finish the outer wall, and there we go. Very nice. So now the rest of the vegetables we could just have for extra food. All right, I just got a bunch of stuff, and I also have an idea. In order to make the raids easier, we're gonna make a door so that hopefully the cultists will all come through the door. So let's open it right here where this shelf doesn't really hold that many mackerel, and then we'll keep going straight through. So let's take our hammer and make a doorway through each thing. There we go. And let me also fix this shelf back here, which is crooked. I still haven't done that, but now we have. All right, I just got a bunch of scrap, and I'm thinking this should be enough for 2 teleporters. Yeah, definitely enough. So let's build one right here, and then we'll build the other one by the lake. All right, it's turning nighttime, so we'll just teleport back. There we go. And then we'll put our swordfish up here. We'll get ready our boost pad, and then we'll go check out the ice fishing holes, because if we can fish there and it'll be faster, that will save a lot of time. All right, we got a bunch of fish. I'm also out of sprint, but we're gonna see how these fish will fit on the shelves, because if they don't fit very well, then I guess we're not gonna get too many of them. So we'll put some of them back here. Yep, just exactly the same. Put them right next to the chars. Nope, just about the same. Okay, so I might go get some more eels and chars just to fill up a few shelves, but other than that, I guess we just gotta keep getting regular fish. Just gonna be an insane grind. But because we have the teleporter, we can go out at pretty much any time of night and just start fishing. All right, so far here's what we got. We got a decent bit of fish at the front. We got some salmon back there, some chars and 2 eels, and some sharks right here. So what I'm thinking is that because we're gonna get so many mackerels, we're gonna move these sharks closer to back here. But the meat is coming together very easily. I can just go out and anger a bunch of wolves, and then that should be pretty easy. But the fish, man, this is gonna be a grind. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a short time lapse right now of getting all the meat that we need, and then we'll check back in and probably do a time lapse of all the fish that we need, which is gonna take a long time. So time lapse starting now. All right, we're back at the base. I'm almost at 6 hours into recording now. We're at 5 hours, 56 minutes, and we finally have what seems to be enough to finish the second wall. So let's go see. I have 8 steaks. Should definitely finish this shelf. There we go. And then for the morsels, we definitely have enough. And there we go. The entire second wall is now full. It's like, I would say 80%, maybe 75% morsels and 25% steak. But regardless, it is done. So now we have to go do an insane amount of fishing. Let me make sure I have a bunch of stew. And while it's nighttime, what I'm gonna do is fish right next to the base. So like right here we have a pond, and then we also have the fishing building pond right over here, which sometimes has the fishing spots that'll help me do this a lot faster. But there's also the fact that the deer spawns on you, so maybe we're just gonna use this one over here. But I've got to do one final time lapse to finish this video. So here's the time lapse of me getting all the fish starting now. this is the last fish that I need. One more mackerel and we're good. There we go. Pick up all them. We're gonna put the salmon over here because we only need one last salmon. Then we're gonna finish out this shelf with the mackerel and we are done. We have maybe 65% of this just being straight up mackerel. Then we have our cake shelf, which we kept on the inner ring. We have our chars and our eels. We also need to reorganize this shelf because for some reason the clownfish don't fit together too tightly. All right, there we go. We have our rarer fish shelf right here. 3 jellyfish, bunch of clownfish, and 3 old boots. We have our shark shelf with 9 sharks, bunch of salmon, bunch of swordfish, and back to the mackerels. We are finally done with all this food. And you want to guess how long I've been recording? 9 hours now. It is absolutely insane. I think this project will come close or even surpass the chopping down every single tree in the map video just based on time. So let me take all these stews. I'm gonna eat a few of them just to waste them because we have a bunch. Or actually, maybe I should keep a few more because we need to start placing furniture now. But before then, let me get the fire up to a higher threshold just because I do not want to have a hungry deer out of the middle of nowhere. All right, that's good enough. So now let's use our defensive blueprints. We'll put these at the entrance. We'll put it closer to the back right here. We don't want to ruin the look of the front. All right, there we go. Now let's start adding our furniture. And this is going to be difficult. We have a lot of furniture. Let me drop all my other stuff back here though, just so that we have more room in our inventory. We also do have another defensive blueprint, so let me put this down. All right, pretty much anyone who comes in here is dead. Then we're going to design a exclusive, and I mean exclusive, because this is the most expensive restaurant in 99 Nights in the Forest. I don't think anybody's as crazy enough as me to do this. So let's build a very nice exclusive restaurant for whoever wants to pay $20,000 a second to eat here. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's make it a table for 3 or a table for 4. Hold up. Where's he at? Where's Kevin? There he is. All right. We actually have a table so exclusive that you, as the main person who's paying for the check, you get to sit in this seat, Kevin's own seat. And yes, Kevin will be dining with you and he will stare at you blankly the entire time while you eat your food, and he will judge you if you don't leave a tip. So leave a tip. So we're gonna put a hedgerow right here. Actually, you know what? Let's put more hedgerows over here just before we run out. That way you are very private from the angry customers who don't know what they're talking about, and also don't look up our restaurant on Yelp. I don't know, Yelp must be broken or something. People keep saying something about dying from the food, poisonous, non-cooked fish. I don't know what they're talking about. Then we'll use some trellises just like that, and for the opening we'll use some fences with some moss on them for extra flavor and also a hint of poison. We'll cut this one in a little bit just so that we can use more of them. All right, here is the entrance to our restaurant. Very private, very exclusive. Kevin actually works here all day. I don't pay him, but if you want to get in, you're gonna have to pay $20,000 a second, I'm pretty sure. So let's put a fairy light arch right here. That way you have a nice entrance into the restaurant, and as you are literally dying to death, we'll put a fairy light arch right here just to make your death a little bit more enjoyable, and then a fairy light arch right here for our guests who actually know how to avoid the trap, which is pretty much nobody. Now what I want to do is I want to take all the rugs that we have and actually use them as part of the restaurant's design. So we're gonna have to find all of them. All right, so we have 3 purple rugs and 3 blue rugs. So I think what we could do is a alternating pattern going from blue to purple to blue in this area right here. That way you're not necessarily eating on carpet unless you're unlucky enough to not be paying for the meal, so you do get the carpet seat. And the red rug, oh dude, this is the red carpet. If you eat here, you are wealthy enough to walk on red carpet, my good sir. Whoever you are, madam, sir, if you have money, I will happily make some poisonous food for you that hopefully you won't sue me over with your 15,000 lawyers. We'll also put a green signpost here for poison, and then back here we'll add all of our bean bags as a relaxation area where you can digest your food properly while you are relaxing listening to the stock market. Now I have no idea how one listens to the stock market, but I'm not rich enough to do that. That's my customer's job. I also just found another red rug, so we're gonna have the red carpet be even longer into the fire because rich people are fire resistant. Don't ask me how I know that. And with that, that's all the furniture I want to place. The rest we'll just toss off in that lake. Our table here, we have a few appetizers, not the entrees. 2 pieces of chicken, because I'm just calling this chicken. 2 pieces of sushi, technically it is raw fish. And then 2 pieces of chili for if you want to literally die by mouth fire. Now we actually have our first group of customers making their way over to this base. So I do have to do well at impressing them. So let's see, I think they're coming in. All right, here's our first customer who's literally literally a Martian. Bro is jumping in slow motion. All right, sir, come in this way. I would actually like to show you your table back here. Sir, why are you sleeping? All right, well, fine. You go to another restaurant then. All right, well, you know what? We have more customers begging to come in. They're literally breaking down the walls to come in. Come right this way, my good sir. What's your name? Kevin? Oh, okay. I have actually a pretty cool person that I think you should meet. All right, right this way, my good sir. Don't mind the guy who's sleeping. He's pretty... All right, this is not funny anymore. I think they know each other. But let me see. There should be one more guy over here. Even though he was shooting at me, I do think that all people deserve second chances. So come over here, sir. I have... Okay, you know what? You don't want to follow me? I see how it is, man. It's pretty rude. This guy over here, though, his name is actually Kevon. So he's actually going to have a really good time with Kevin. I think they'll have a very nice conversation about something about politics. So well, apparently everybody's sleep deprived. I have no idea why. It's not like I've been staying up for almost 2 years straight in this game. All right, he's finally following me. Sir, I promise you, the food is good. And apparently, our entryway is so good that everyone likes taking naps. Then follow me, my good sir. Do not eat the food. Don't stop eating the food, sir. You haven't paid for that. Sir, eat the food. This is not a robbery. Eat the... You know, wait, why am I telling them to eat the food? You know what? Fine. I have to defend myself. All right, now that our customers have been dealt with, very, very rude, by the way, I do want to do one last thing. This base looks pretty nice from the outside. You know, we have a ton of corn and all that, but it doesn't really showcase the inner beauty. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna get rid of a lot of these corn shelves. So we're just gonna eat the corn, which will clear up space for other things that I want to put in here. So we're gonna go out to 3 shelves on each side. Get the 3rd shelf over here. And now let's start adding a bunch of color and vibrance to it. So we're gonna get stuff like the mackerels for a shelf. And now we have a much, much better looking entrance. We have a whole vibrant range of colors right here. Very light archway entering into the base. Very, very nice. This took an insanely long amount of time. We are now at 9.5 hours. So let's do the base tour. All right, entering in here, we have our very own fairy light archway, welcoming guests into our restaurant or our food base. We have mackerels, swordfish, salmon, corn, apples, and pumpkins all displaying out front. Then on the inner wall, we have a bunch of steaks, no idea the count. We have a bunch of ribs that don't really fit in the shelves that well. I don't know how many actually fits in a shelf, but I did not get enough to do that probably. Then over here, we have our cooked morsels, which go out pretty much all the way around, as we didn't find as much steak as we did morsels. But coming into this 3rd layer, don't step in here like the people who like taking naps, but come to the side and see our beautiful array of fish, of the which we have way too many mackerels. And speaking of mackerels, pretty much all of these mackerels came out of this pond. If you're asking how they all fit in here, I don't know either. Then over here we have our cake shelf, which I actually had too many cakes, so I had to put more on top. Then we have our chars and our eels. The eels are very expensive because they kill you. We make you sign a waiver signing over all of your assets over to us because we want your money. Then we have our rarer fish. Same thing for the jellyfish, by the way. You have to sign a different waiver, but same thing. Then we have our clownfish and our old boots, which are our most chewy option on the menu. If you want to order that, you can get some real flavor out of it. Then we have 9 sharks, bunch of salmon. Salmon's actually pretty common. You must be poor if you eat salmon. Only real rich people die by eating electric eels. Then we have our swordfish. They will cut your throat the second you eat them. Very, very expensive. And now let's go into the base the right way by jumping over the shelf. Over here, we have our farm plus our industrial cooker, where we have cooked so many different stews just by plopping a bunch of carrots in here with our sack. 20 farm plots all at the same place. Very nice, very industrial. We got our teleporter to the level 3 lake, boost pad that we used, camping chairs if you want to sit by the fire, 4 kids tent, as well as the fact that we are also insanely rich with 9 forest gems and 39 cultist gems. But for our very VIP guests, aka Kevin, we have the red carpet laid out with a sign letting you know that this is red carpet just in case you can't see with your eyes. Coming in here, we have our restaurant with flowers, a purple and blue hangout area just in case you don't feel like eating but feel like hanging out. Then right here, and I do want to warn you, this is one of the most important parts about the entire base, so keep it calm, okay? I don't want to seem weird in front of him. This is Kevin, our very, very VIP, VVIP, very, very important person who will eat with you if you spend $20,000 a second at a restaurant. And yes, I do know that price is a little cheap, but I promise you this is the real Kevin. And with that, that is our entire biggest food base. This took a ridiculous amount of time. I don't know why did this. Hopefully you guys like it. And we just made it to almost day 600 with no beds. So that's insane. But thanks for watching. Subscribe and click on this video right here.